In the lab, an inspection model scores 97%. On the press, it can false reject 14% of good parts. The model did not get worse. The inputs left the distribution it was validated on. This is the inspection trust gate, a runtime layer between the vision model and the PLC reject actuator. For every part, it answers one question: is this decision safe to actuate? Run the shift. Every part is a real photograph from the MVTech industrial benchmarks held out split. Clean parts clear the envelope check, clear the confidence gate, and auto pass in tens of milliseconds. 6 a.m. Shift change, cold dies, bay lights on. The line just drifted out of its validated envelope. Hold it right there and look at two decisions from before the change. First, Part 264. A gross structural defect, confidence 1.7. The gate auto-rejected it, and the simulated Ethernet IP adapter logged the actuation in about 25 milliseconds, well inside the 750 budget. The geometry stage is honest about its limits. No anomaly was localized on this part. The zone rule fell back to its center default, so the reject rests on texture confidence alone. The drill-in says exactly that. The opposite case, Part 251. Here the anomaly is real, localized, and sits off the functional zone on a confident part. So the gate refused to fire the actuator and routed the part to human review. The centroid is measured this time. Row 2, column 6, outside the functional zone. Across the whole held-out split, this branch changes one outcome in 93. A stand-in for real metrology and labeled as 1. Behind every part there is a lineage record, model version, dataset hash, the envelope score, the rules that fired, latency against budget, and the EU AI Act risk tag, high-risk quality gate Annex 3. Back to the line, let the drift through. After the shift change, every good part arrives corrupted. Glare, defocus, thermal cast. A naive AOI would silently scrap them. The envelope monitor reads the physics instead and flags each frame as outside the validated envelope. The gate holds them. The escalation queue fills with parts tagged needs proof, 12 good parts saved from the scrap bin, and 2 genuine defects that arrived during the drift. Still caught, still escalated. Part 297. Ground truth good. Under glare, the texture model's confidence spiked to 1.5, past the naive reject threshold. The envelope check flagged the frame first, so the gate held the part instead of scrapping it. The breach is explained signal by signal. Brightness sits 7.6 sigma above the validated baseline and carries most of the distance. This frame is far outside the envelope. No model verdict is trusted out there at any model quality. The measured comparison on the same parts. The naive path scrapped 12 good parts this run. The trust gate scrapped 0 and held them for review instead. Projected over one 8-hour shift at 40 strokes per minute, that false reject rate is roughly 11,000 good parts. About $26,000 of scrap, measured first, projected second, never invented. One click asks why. The triage ranks the physical deviations across every held part, names the dominant cause, and a critic pass verifies that claim against the numbers. It can escalate but never clear. The advice never actuates. The deterministic gate already decided. The full shift exports as JSON lines, one lineage record per part. The receipt a conformity assessor can actually file. The sources panel keeps the demo honest. Real photographs, public benchmark, held out split. The vision model is a stand-in. In production, the engine is the customer's own, and the product is the layer around it. It even quantifies its weakest component. The zone rule, near inert and labeled as such. The check that matters, the envelope detector, scored a perfect 1.0 on a drift family it was never tuned against. 25 parts this shift. Every decision inside the latency budget with a full audit trail. 0 good parts auto-scrapped under drift. The fix was not a better model. It was knowing when not to trust the one already on the line. And it is what we build at Veriprajna. If a model's verdict fires an actuator, files a claim, or faces a customer, the question is whether this decision right now is safe to act on. We would welcome a conversation. Veriprajna.com, building true intelligence.